Very cool. Back in the building. We about to talk about my man Lupe Fiasco, one of the people I grew up with, also that I admired. Real cool dude. We keep that conscious energy flowing. The flowing to my from my to what to you. Lupe Fiasco, the man, he gave us kick, push. He made it cool to be a black skateboarder. He showed just cause you black, you don't gotta be a thug, game banger, sell drugs. You can be smart and use your brain, be a genius, a nerd, be a skateboarder. He made it cool to do that. Then, Hobson and Tyler the Creator came along and they elevated that. Much love to Hobson. Shout out to Hobson and Tyler the Creator. Hope they do a song together one day. But yeah, he made it cool to be a black skateboarder. He shows you don't have to follow them black stereotypes. You know, he's conscious like me. You know, even though he's been around longer, he's a little bit older, but age don't matter. As long as you're conscious, you're conscious. It's about the mind. Wasalalu Muhammad Jaco, born February 16th, 1982, better known as by his stage name Lupe Fiasco, is an American rapper, singer, songwriter, record producer, and entrepreneur. He rose to fame in 2006 following the success of his debut album, Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor. He also performs as the frontman of rock band Japanese Cartoon under his real name. As an entrepreneur, Fiasco was the chief executive officer of the First and 15th Entertainment. Of course, birth name was Salu Muhammad Jakul, also known as Double J, born February 16th, 1982, which will make him 40, in Chicago, Illinois. Chicago stand up. I did content on a lot of conscious people, so now I'm doing one on another one. And I got some more to go because my list that I got on the internet is a pretty long list, and we only halfway through. But don't worry, we still got some more consciousness to come. And you got my word, I'm gonna keep it entertaining. Genres: hip hop, occupations: rapper, singer, songwriter, record producer, entrepreneur. Years active: 2000 to present. Labels: First and 15th, The Orchid, 30 Tigers, Current Atlantic, former. Associated acts: Owl City Chess Club, Child Rebel Soldier, Japanese cartoon, DeMarco Castle, Guy Sebastian, Matthew Santos, Nikki Jean, Pooh Bear, Sway, Ty Dolla Signs. Shout out to Ty Dolla Signs. Website www.lupefiasco.com. Raised in Chicago, Jacko developed an interest in hip hop after initially disliking the genre for its use of vulgarity and misogyny. After adopting the name Lupe Fiasco and recording songs in his father's basement, 19-year-old Fiasco joined a group called The Pack. The group disbanded shortly after its inception, and Fiasco soon met rapper Jay-Z, who helped him sign a record deal with Atlantic Records. In September 2006, Fiasco released his debut album, Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor, on the label, which received 3 Grammy nominations. He released his second album, Fiasco's The Cool, in December 2007. The lead single, Superstar, became his first top 40 hit on the Billboard Hot 100. After a 2 year delay, his third album, Lasers, was released in May 2011 to mixed reviews. However, it became his first album to debut at the number one on the Billboard 200. The album was preceded by his highest charting single, The Show Goes On, which peaked at number 9. His latest album, Dragus Wave, was released in September 2018. In addition to music, Fiasco has pursued other business ventures, including fashion. He runs 2 clothing lines, Righteous Kung Fu and Truly. He has designed sneakers for Reebok. He has been involved with charitable activities, including the summit on the Summit Expedition. And in 2010, he recorded a benefit single for victims of the 2010 Haiti's earthquake. God bless the victims until the 2010 Haiti's earthquake. May God be with the victims in the 2010 Haiti's earthquake. All right, Fiasco is also noted for his anti-establishment views, which he has expressed in both interviews and in his music, life, and career. 1982 to 1999, early life. I grew up in the hood around prostitutes, drug dealers, killers, and gangbangers. But I also grew up juxtaposed on the doorknob outside of our apartment. There was blood from some guy who got shot, but inside there was National Geographic magazines and encyclopedias in a little library bookshelf situation. And we didn't have cable, so we didn't have the luxury of having our brains washed by NTV. We watched public television, that's me, cooking shows and stuff like that, fiascos on the childhood. I can relate to that. Let your kids watch Discovery Channel, National Geographic, and CBS, or CBN, Arthur, all them shows. I grew up off of it, and look how I am. I wouldn't be the smart man I wasn't today. Well, of course, and that's the guy in my family and my teachers and people at school. If you let your kids grow up off filth, that's all they're gonna think about is filth. But you let your kids grow up off of educational stuff, they would think educational stuff and never expand their brains to new stuff. And that's another way you can really stop these stereotypes for all people of color, including my fellow black people. We don't gotta follow the status quo of what the media give us. We our own people. You know, God made us our own men and women. So we gotta start back living like that and quit being pro puppets, if you want to say, of the media. Thinking, well, if I don't look this way, for you women, if you don't look like a supermodel on the TV show, you know, half of them made out of plastic. Nothing against them, but let's be real. And half of them got them high priced trainers that look like that. You don't gotta beat yourself up, women. And fellas, if you ain't tall like these tall, dark, and handsome guys or whatever, don't beat yourself up. Be yourself. Look at Easy E. See, Muzzy Bowes, Spuds McKenzie, Kevin Hart, Cat Williams, all of them was short and they very successful. And they got beautiful women and no beautiful wives that got their back. See who else? Tech Nine, people like that. That ain't tall, but they cool people. Tech Nine, the powerhouse in the independent game, and he ain't tall. Fiasco was born Wasalu Muhammad Jaco on February 16th, 1982, in Chicago, Illinois. Fiasco is of West African descent, one of nine children of Shirley, a chef, and Gregory, an engineer. His father is a member of the Black Panther Party, was a prolific African drummer, karate teacher, operating plant engineer, and owner of a karate schools and army surplus stores. Fiasco was raised Muslim on the west side of Chicago on Madison Terrace housing project. At the age of 3, Fiasco began taking martial art classes. His parents divorced when he was 5, and he went on to live with his mother, but his father still remained an important part of his life. He described his father's influence over the family by saying, after school, my father would come and get us and take us out into the world. One day we were listening to NWA. The next day we were listening to Ravi Shankar. The next day he's teaching us how to shoot a AK-47. The next day we're at karate class. The next day we're in Chinatown. In sixth grade, we went to live with his father. In sixth grade, he went to live with his father full time in Harvey, Illinois. His father lived next door to a crack house and taught Fiasco to use guns to defend himself from drug dealers. Despite his unstable upbringing, Fiasco states that he was well educated as a child, certain that his parents exposed him to a diverse array of subjects. It's good to show you expose your kids to diverse array of subjects. It's good to really just help 'em. You will thank yourself in the long run, and your kids will thank you too. And he was highly encouraged as a household. It's good. Yeah, it's good to encourage to have your kids to be diverse, and like everything as they go. It's good to have your kids diverse as they go. That's the word I'm looking for. Exposing him to diverse array of subjects, reading was highly encouraged in his household. As a teenager, Fiasco participated in academic decathlon competition. His mother described him by saying he was a great spirited child, smart, a bit complex. He kind of was a loner. He didn't hang with a lot of people. He always had the glasses, always had a book bag over his shoulder, and some type of writing tablet. Fiasco initially disliked hip hop music for the use of vulgar, vulgarity and preferred to listen to jazz. He idolized clarinet player Benny Goodman. His struggle to learn to play an instrument led him to create poetry instead, which led to his interest in lyrical aspects of music. He began rapping his poems in the eighth grade, and upon hearing Nas' 1996 album, It Was Written, began to pursue hip hop. While attending Thornton Township High School, Fiasco met gang member Bishop G. The two became friends due to their shared interest in music. Fiasco father allowed him and Bishop to make mixtapes in his basement, and the two gained notoriety at the school for their music. However, they were kicked off stage during the first performance because of electric musical style was not embraced by the hip hop community. Early in his career, he went by stage names Little Lou and Lou the Underdog. Instead of THE, it's THA. Growing up, Fiasco was given the nickname Lou, the last part of his first name by his mother. Lupe is an extension of this nickname, basically knows like Lou, which he borrowed from a friend from high school. Fiasco is a reference to the Firm song Firm Fiasco. The rapper liked the way it looked on paper. He also said his name. You know how rappers always have names like MC Terrorist, like they're terrorizing other rappers. I knew Fiasco meant a great disaster or something like that, but I didn't realize that the person named Fiasco would be the disaster and that you should be calling other MCs Fiasco, not yourself. It kind of humbled me in a sense. It taught me, like, yo, stop rushing or you're going to have some fiascos. Electric music by his Fiasco. Friends. Hmm. Gang. Okay. 2000 to 2005, career beginnings. This is Lupe performing in 2006. When Fiasco was 18, he began creating music as a solo artist in his father's basement. Even though his parents were not keen on having their son be a rapper, he scored flea markets and secondhand stores where he was able to find an old mixing board and a record player, stacks of vinyl records, and mic stands. At age 19, Fiasco joined a group called The Pack, which was influenced by other California gangster rappers such as Spice One and Ice Cube. The Pack signed to Epic Records and released one single before splitting up. Fiasco later described the experience saying, "We had a song out, but about cocaine, guns, and women, and I would go to a record store and look at it and think, what are you doing? I felt like a hypocrite. I was acting like this rapper who would never be judged, and I had to destroy that guy because what Lupe Fiasco says on this microphone is going to come back to Wasalu Jaco, which is his birth name. So basically saying, even though he's using a stage name, he's saying crazy stuff. It's going to come back to him on his birth name and make him look bad. So he went with conscious rap, as I went with conscious YouTube. When the music cuts off, you have to go home and live with what you say. After turning away from gangster rap, he developed a greater appreciation of the lyricism of Jay Z and Nas. His mother also gave him a record of the influential group the Watts Prophets, one of the first bands to use spoken words with music. Although he was without a group for the first time, Fiasco continued to record music. One of these first self recorded tracks was Could Have Been, which described the career options he could have pursued had he not begun rapping. He viewed the song as a turning point in his career that marked a drastic change in the subject matter of his music. Could have Could Have Been was released as a demo tape and discovered by MTV despite the fact no videos was created for the song. Fiasco later signed a solo deal with Arista Records, but was dropped when President and CEO L.A. Reid was fired. During his short tenure at Arista, he met Jay-Z, who was the president of Def Jam Recordings at the time. Jay-Z referred to him as a breath of fresh air, saying that he reminded him of a younger version of himself. Jay-Z later helped him get a record deal at Atlantic Records. While Fiasco was working on his debut solo album, he released his mixtape series Fahrenheit 115 over the internet, which gained notoriety by word of mouth. He remixed Kanye West's song Diamonds from Sierra Leone, renaming the new version as Conflict Diamonds. With this remix, Fiasco wished to raise awareness of the conflict diamond business. This caught West's attention, and he asked Fiasco to perform on the song "Touch the Sky" for West's album. For yeah, late registration, the song which sampled Curtis Mayfield's "Move On Up" became a hit in the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 42. After this success, Fiasco's first single, Kick Push, one of my favorite singles, was released earlier that than expected. The song was a love story about two people sharing the passion for skateboarding. Shout out to my skateboarders. A topic generally not discussed in hip hop, Fiasco explains skateboarding culture is just as deep as hip hop. I'm not the greatest skateboarder, but I'm not a D word good rapper. So I made a D word good skateboarding song. The single and its accompanying music video helped Fiasco get attention in the hip hop community and was later nominated for two 2007 Grammy Awards. During this time, he recorded a guest performance on the Rhymes Kiss Me and Didn't You Know singles, and also on K Fox 2004 This Life, 2006 to 2008, Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor, and The Cool. Jay-Z assisted him in the production of what would become his debut album, Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor. The title of the album is a reference to food and liquor stores common in Chicago. He explains the store is where everything is at. Food to me represents growth and progression. You eat food and you get strength. You need it to live. Liquor is not a necessity, it is a want. It destroys you, it breaks you down. I can see why it's prohibited in Islam. I've always felt like liquor represents the bad, the food represents the good, and everyone is made up of a little of both. Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor was officially released on September 19th, 2006. The album featured production from Jay-Z, Kanye West, Mike Shinoda, the Neptunes, Farewell, and the Asian guy and and the black guy, Pro- Prolific, among others. The record spawned the singles Kick, Push, I Got You, and Daydreaming, featuring Jill Scott, a beautiful song. I like Kick Push though. Kick Push is cool. Okay, the critically lauded album was later nominated for three Grammy Awards, including Best Rap Album. Fiasco won Best Urban Alternative Performance for Daydreaming in the same year. He was voted by GQ magazine as the Breakout Man of the Year. He also received four BET Hip Hop Award nominations, and it made it to number 8 on the Billboard 200 and number 2 on the Billboard Top R&B Hip Hop Albums chart. The same year, he participated in the first cipher at the BET Hip Hop Awards. Now, this is a quote from Lupe Fiasco. It was a lot of tragedy coming into this album. In the midst of a lot of success, I was so busy I didn't have time to properly mourn. Talking to yourself, having some therapy with yourself. It was the hardest record to write because of the emotions. Lupe Fiasco and Fiasco's The Cool. In 2007, Fiasco announced his second album, Lupe Fiasco's The Cool, a concept album that expands on the story of the track of the same name on his first album. While recording this album, Fiasco's father died of type 2 diabetes, and his business partner, Charles Chili Patton, was convicted of attempting to supply heroin to a drug ring and was eventually sentenced to 44 years in a correctional facility. These events greatly affected Fiasco and the subsequent themes discussed on the record. The disc was released in December 2007 in the United States, while the first single and video from the album Superstar featured Matthew Santos was released the first week of November 2007. Lupe Fiasco's The Cool, a concept album that expanded upon res, recurring recurring themes in food and liquor, is about a hustler who dies and comes back to life only to get robbed by two little kids with the same gun that killed him. For the record, Fiasco decided not to work with well-known producers as he considered to be too expensive. I can roll with that. I agree with that. Nothing the commercial failure of his farewell collaboration I Got You. Lupe Fiasco the Cool Lupe Fiasco's The Cool was very well received by critics and was referred to as one of the year's best hip hop albums by the New York Times. Superstar, a semi-autobiographical account of his rise to fame, was released as the first single from the album and peaked at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. Baseball's Hanley Ramirez, Troy Tulowitzki, Rasky, Ryan Zimmerman, Gerald Laird, and Ryan Braun have used Superstar as their at-bat song. The album's second single, released in the UK in April 2008, was Paris Tokyo, a song based around Fiasco's experiences of touring the world between his first and second albums. Moreover, in 2007, it was revealed that Fiasco, Kanye West, and Pharrell Williams formed a group called Child Rebel Soldier (CRS). Initially released one single entitled "U.S. Places," Us Places, and featured a Thom Yorke sample. In an interview with The Village Voice, Fiasco revealed that he was writing a novel about a window washer, aptly titled "Reflections of a Window Washer." In 2008, Fiasco and his band 1500 or Nothing joined Kanye West Glow in the Dark tour, which also featured Rihanna and Nerd, Nerd. All my 2003 kids will know that, and all my 90s kids will know that. That's before Pharrell went solo and did Excuse and Miss What's Your Name? You could taste the baby, you lady. What's your name? With Jay Z. The tour stopped in several cities, including his hometown of Chicago. In 2008, MTV named Fiasco the seventh hottest MC in the game and announced that he was remixing the Cool with French electro house act Justice. 2009 to 2011, Lasers, All City Chess Club, genre experimental hip hop, hipster hop. Years after 2010 to 2015, labels first and 15th members: Astro Roth, B.O.B., Charles Hamilton, The Cool Kids, Diggy, Dosage, Lupe Fiasco. Past members: Blue, J. Cole, Pharrell Williams, Wale. At a performance in New Zealand in February 2010, Fiasco performed new material from the then titled Are We Lasers? From the then titled We Are Lasers. From the first time, he claimed that the album was complete and waiting for a release date from his label, Atlantic Records. However, Atlantic feared that the record lacked commercial singles and presented Fiasco with songs the label wanted him to record. Fiasco declined as he was told he would not have any ownership of the songs. He explained, I don't think the label cares about an album. People just want their number one record. For 6 months, the cause of the album's delay remained unclear to the public. In response, Fiasco fans created an online petition demanding Atlantic Records release Lasers. The petition garnered considerable attention on hip hop blog sites as well as over 16,000 signatures. Fiasco stated that the petition brought him to tears, and in response to the petition, Fiasco released a song titled BMF, Building Minds Faster, to thank his fans. While waiting for Lasers to be released, Fiasco completed Another album titled Food and Liquor 2. The Great American Rap Album. He was unsure of if the Food and Liquor 2 would ever be released. Do he release the song Go to Sleep from the record out of desperation to put out new music? He also pursued numerous side projects in the midst of the delay in April 2010. In April 2000, in April 2010, Fiasco formed the hip hop collective All City Chess Club along with Pharrell, Asher Roth, B.O.B., The Cool Kids, Charles Hampton, Blue, Diggy Simmons, Wale, and J. Cole, and Dosage. The group has so far made one song, a remix of Fiasco's I'm Beaming. Additionally, on July 16, 2010, Fiasco released his rock side project, Japanese Cartoons debut EP. In the Jaws of the Lords of Death, Japanese cartoon was influenced by a variety of musical genres, with Fiasco saying, I've always been a fan of all music. Hip hop is just something I actually know how to do, but I always had aspirations to participate in other forms of music. Once I got to create some hip hop, it was like, okay, what am I going to do now? So my artistic side was like, yo, let's do some rock music. More more than 2.5 years after the album's compilation, Lasers was released on March 8, 2011. The first single from the record was The Show Goes On, which samples Float On by Modest Mouse. The Show Goes On debuted at number 57 on the Billboard Hot 100. He led the single, the peaked at number 9. Since then, the producers involved on the album include Alex the Kid, King David, The Future, and Jerry Wanda Duplessis, while featured artists include Skylar Grey, Trey Songz, and John Legend. Upon the album's release, Lasers debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 chart with first week sales of 204,000 copies. Despite the album's commercial success, Lasers received mixed reviews from most music critics. Writing for AllMusic, editor Andy Kellman gave the record 3 out of 5 stars and criticized its lumbering overwrought choruses, writing that if there is one MC whose rhymes should not be dulled for the sake of chasing pop trends is Lupe Fiasco. Laces, however, was nominated Best Rap Album, with The Show Goes On nominated for Best Rap Performance, the Best and Best Rap Song at the 2020, at the 2012, at the 2012 Grammy Awards. Lupe Fiasco later involved himself at the Occupy Wall Street movement, where he donated tents and released a poem in support of the protesters, who also released his Friend of the People, I Fight Evil mixtape on Thanksgiving Day. Here we go. 2012, the 2013 Food and Liquor 2, the Great American Rap Album. Fiasco subsequently released a Food and Liquor 2, as well as put work into a joint album with fellow child rebel soldier and All City Chess Club member Pharrell. Prior to the album's release, he revealed that there would be no more mixtapes after Friend of the People, I Fight Evil. Prior to Food and Liquor 2, the Great American Rap Album, which was planned to be a double disc with Part 1 set to release in fall 2012. Its lead single, the Simazized and B-side produced track Around My Freedom Ain't Free, was released on May 21st, which stirred controversy from infuriated Pete Rock for using a sample from They Reminisce Over You, Troy, in Rock said that he felt so violated by the use of the sample, although the original track itself used samples from Tom Scott and James Brown. In 2012, Fiasco also collaborated with Australian singer Guy Sebastian on the single Battle Scars, T period R T period O period Y. In 2012, Fiasco also collaborated with Australian singer Guy Sebastian on the single Battle Scars. The single was recorded in Sebastian's Sydney studio when Fiasco was in Australia for Superfest, and it and is featured on Sebastian's album Armageddon. It debuted at number one in Australia in its first week, becoming Fiasco's first number one single on 21st. I guess it was announced Battle Scars would be included on Fiasco's fourth album, Food and Liquor 2, the Great American Rap Album Part 1, and was released as the fourth single in the United States on 28th August 2012. It reached number 71 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, number 23 on the Billboard Digital Song chart, and number 1 on the R&B Hip Hop Digital Song chart. The song spent 20 non-consecutive weeks in the Billboard Hot 100 and reached platinum certification. Battle Scars spent 6 weeks at number one in Australia and has been certified 9 times platinum by ARIA. It also reached number two and double platinum in New Zealand and number two in Norway. Food and Liquor 2, the Great American Rap Album Part 1 was released on September 25th, 2012. The songs Go to Sleep and Be Bad were also released as singles. The album received generally positive reviews from contemporary music critics at Metacritic, which assigns a normalized rating out of 100 to reviews from mainstream critics. The album received an average score of 70, which indicates generally favorable reviews. Based on 18 reviews, it was also nominated for Best Rap Album at the 55th Grammy Awards. Originally, the album was set to be released as a double disc album, but Atlantic Records did not allow this arrangement, so the album was divided into two. It was confirmed that a part two would be released in spring 2013. Lupe has said the album showcases more of his dexterity and lyrical substance. As one has confirmed to be producing the album on January 17, 2013, he canceled the plan for the release of the second part of the original double disc. He then said that he would release another studio album in 2013 to 2015, Tetsu and Youth. On February 10th, 2013, on the red carpet for the Grammy Awards, he announced his fifth studio album, which would be titled Tetsu and Youth. Since then, he has released songs that are slated to be on Tetsu and Youth. These songs are Light Blue and Janela Forever. Upon hearing her name and Lupe's song Form, Form Follows Function, Imogen Heap reached out to Lupe on Twitter to give a thank you, which led to Fiasco asking her to appear on his next album, making her a possible guest artist on Tetsu and Youth. On August 4th, 2013, Lupe Fiasco revealed a new song would be released in September 11th, titled Piece of Paper, Cup of Jesus. Yeah, Jesus. It could be Cup of Jesus. We'll say Cup of Jesus. On August 24th, 2013, Fiasco revealed the first song from Tiazzo and Youth, Crack, featuring Chris Brown. Then on October 3rd, 2013, Fiasco announced the Tutsu and Youth preview tour to take place between November 2nd and December 15th, 2013. The tour featured label mate Staley as a supporting act and the Boy Illinois as an opening act. He also revealed the album Tutsu and Youth would be released in early 2014, but was later postponed to 2015. On October 14th, 2013, Fiasco released the first supposed song from the album Old School Love, featuring singer Ed Sheeran. Then on October 21st, 2013, Fiasco revealed that Big Crit and Rick Ross would also be featured on the album. Shout out to Big Crit and Rick Ross. See what else we got. Ooh, there we go. Promotional single titled on June 24th, 2014. Fiasco released a second promotional single titled Next to It, which features Ty Dolla Sign on the hook. Most recently, due to the Ferguson riots of 2014, Lupe Fiasco has ended up on Twitter feuds with fellow rappers Azealia Banks and Kid Cudi. The feud between Kid Cudi and Lupe Fiasco has not been resolved and has reportedly become worse with Lupe Fiasco making threats on MTV. On August 29th, 2015, Lupe surprised fans with a new free mixtape titled Pharaoh Height. Features 6 new tracks and that carry Egyptian themed titles, which cuts like valleys, kings, and pyramids. 2016 to present, Dragus Light and Dragus Wave. In April 2016, Fiasco announced that he would release his final 3 albums, Dragus, Skulls, and Roy, later becoming Dragus, Dragus Light, and Skulls, but in October 2016, he announced he wouldn't release those albums between October and January, and past 2017 would release new music. On December 12, 2016, Lupe released his Nerd freestyle named after the funk rock duo of that name and over the instrumental to J. Cole's Everybody Dies, which included the line artists getting robbed for their publishing by Dirty Juice execs that thank his alms from the Covenant, Brian DJ Z, Zizak on hip hop website DJ Booth, who is Jewish, wrote a editorial denouncing that line for its alleged anti-Semitism. After Nerd was apparently removed by SoundCloud for the hate speech, Lupe ultimately tweeted that he saw the situation as a sign from God to retire from music for good, announcing the cancellation of Dragus Light and Skulls. However, he announced Dragus Light would be released on February 10th, we released on 10th February 2017. The new album will be distributed through the record label 30 Tigers. On March 2018, Fiasco premiered a 3-part television documentary called Beat and Path, where he embarked on a journey around China to follow his passion for martial arts. This documentary is a tribute to his late father, who was Grand Master and ran a martial arts school in Chicago. His experiences will help him write his next single called Air China. The documentary aired exclusively on KIX in Southeast Asia. On September 13th, 2018, Fiasco announced that Dragon's Wave will be released on September 21st, 2018. The album is the second part of the planned trilogy of albums, which Dragon's Light as its predecessor, followed by Skull's artistry. Influences: Jacko's influence include Nas, Jay-Z, Common, AZ, De La Soul, NWA, Most Def, Pharrell Williams, A Tribe Called Quest, Q-Tip, Linkin Park, and Gangstar. Lyrical style: Fiasco, along with rappers Common, Most Def, and Talib Kweli, has been credited as a pioneer of the conscious hip hop movement, which focuses on social issues. Subjects touched upon on Lupe Fiasco's food and liquor, including absent parents, terrorism, Islam, and religion, war and prostitution. Fiasco attributes his interest in social issues to his highly cultured upbringing, as he describes his mother as very intellectual and his father as a Renaissance man. He rejects the misogyny common in hip hop, which he discusses in his song Hurt Me So. Despite this, Fiasco is strongly opposed to censorship in music. If we're going to censor things that are offensive, then are we going to have to blind and define everyone? Come on, man. Let us focus on education and literacy and poverty. I agree with that 100%. Fiasco employs various lyrical techniques in his songwriting. The rapper views hip hop as a medium conduit to storytelling. A primary element of his lyrics Due to his background in theater, he wrote plays as a child, which had a strong effect on his songwriting approaches. Fiasco utilizes both media metaphors and literal statements in his work, which he describes as getting from point A to point B as few words as possible. His use of metaphors is exemplified by the song Gotta Eat from Lupe Fiasco's The Cool, which is told from the perspective of a cheeseburger and addresses the poor, nutrition, and black communities in the United States while using a continuous metaphor of drug dealing and hustling, philanthropy, and business ventures. In 2001, Fiasco co-founded First and 15th Entertainment with Charles Chili Patton. First and 15th is an independent record label separate from Atlantic Records, named after the traditional twice monthly paycheck dates. Anyone that's poor or just average person can relate to the first 15th when you get them checks. Okay, here we go. Although his albums are released by Atlantic since he is under contract with it, most of his works are usually produced by First and 15th and is in house producers. Although Fiasco was initially to serve as vice president, he became CEO after Patton was convicted of drug charges. Fiasco and singer Matthew Santos were two of the most recognizable signed artists. In November 2009, Fiasco announced he would discontinue the First 15th label. It was just uh, such a this isn't right for you right now. This isn't going to work for you right now. You need to be focused on you. Do you really want that? Do you really have the capacity to do it? On March 2013, Fiasco took to Twitter to announce that he had become the creative director of HIG, HIGI, a scoring system based in the Chicago area that helps you to discover more about yourself so you can look, live, and feel better. In 2005, he founded Righteous Kung Fu, a company that designs fashion, sneakers, toys, video games, comic books, and graphics for album covers and skateboard decks. Fiasco also runs a fashion line out of Righteous Kung Fu called Trilly and Truly. He has sponsored a skateboard team and has endorsements from DGK Skateboards. In January 2006, Fiasco signed with major footwear and apparel corporation Reebok, becoming part of the OG marketing campaign where rap artists such as Lil Wayne and Mike Jones designed their own personal colorway of the Reebok OG model. In 2009, Fiasco performed in the People Speak, a documentary featured film that employs musical performances of the letters, diaries, and speeches of everyday Americans based on historian Howard Zinn's A People's History in the United States. Zinn, Zinn, as on January 7th, 2010, Fiasco joined musician Kina, actress Jessica Biel, and other celebrities and activists on his expedition to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro called Summit. On the summit to raise awareness of billions of people worldwide. Basically, raise awareness. Yeah, on Mount Kilimanjaro. Okay, Jessica Biel. On January 7th, 2010, Fiasco joined musicians Kina, Sis, yeah, Jessica Biel, and other celebrities. On January 7th, 2010, Fiasco joined musicians Kina, actress Jessica Biel, and other celebrities, and activists for expedition to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, called Summit. On the summit, to raise awareness of the billions of people worldwide who lack access to sanitary drinking water. On January 20th, 2010, Fiasco released a track called Resurrection with Kenya in response to the 2010 Haiti earthquake. The song part of the compilation released through the charity Music for Belief, for Relief, aimed to encourage donations for immediate relief in terms of recovery following disaster. Personal life. I'm not like the poster boy for Islam. I still got my flaws and stuff like that, so I don't really wear that on my sleeves. I don't go to clubs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Like the whole groupie situation is shut down. Wasalu Muhammad Jeko on his faith. Lupe Fiasco is an avid gamer, likes likes to play the Street Fighter series of fighting games. He surprisingly won an exhibition match of Street Fighter V, was I think that would be five. I don't know my Roman numerals like that. Against professional player Diego Imahara in 2016, defeating him 3-2 using Ken religion. Lupe Fiasco has stated on NTV's Rap Fix as well as in various other media that he is Muslim and that Islam plays a part in my life and everything I do. To a certain extent, I don't like putting my religion out there. I don't like wearing it like that because I don't want people to look at me as the poster child for Islam. I'm not. I don't want them to look at my flaws and be like, "Oh, that's flaws of Islam." His mixtape series Fahrenheit 115 featured a remix of Kanye West's Jesus Walks entitled Muhammad Walks, which went on to become very popular in the Muslim community. He can be heard using Islamic receptacles in Hurt Me Soul, Little Weapon, High Definition. He can be heard using Islamic receptacles in Hurt Me Soul, Little Weapon, and High Definition, as well as the intro and outro tracks to Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor. Lupe Fiasco has endorsed the idea that Islam will someday be the world's religion and conquer the world. Political views. In the interview with Stephen Colbert on the satirical news show, The Colbert Report, Fiasco stated his credo on political philosophy. You should criticize power even if you agree with it. Another interview in June 2011 on the CBS program Was Trending, Fiasco discussed the political content of his music, stating, "My fight against terrorism to me is the biggest terrorist is Obama. In the United States of America, I'm trying to fight the terrorism that actually causing other forms of terrorism." That's it. You know the root cause of terrorism is stuff the U.S. government allows to happen. The foreign policies that we have in place is different countries that inspire people to become terrorists. We accidentally criticized Obama for his stance in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, stating that Palestinians had pushed moderate Israelis too far. Fiasco says he did not vote in U.S. elections until 2018. He said on Twitter that he now votes due to the racial views of Donald Trump and that he generally votes for Democrat candidates. On January 20th, 2013, he was removed from the stage by security for refusing to move into the next song after performing a 30-minute version of Words I Never Said. This contained anti-Obama lyrics in Washington, D.C. during Obama's second presidential inauguration. In June 2015, Lupe Fiasco wrote an open letter about white supremacy. Discography: Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor 2006, Lupe Fiasco's The Cool 2007, Lasers 2011, Food and Liquor 2, The Great American Rap Album Part 1 2012, Tatsu and Youth 2015, Dragon's Light 2017, Dragon's Wave 2018, Filmography, Year, Title, Role, Notes, Beat and Path, himself, 3 episodes, also executive producer, Empire himself, Cameo 2018, Awards. In 2006, Lupe was named one of GQ's Man of the Year, along with being awarded one Grammy in 2008, along with 12 nominations. He has been nominated for numerous other awards and has also been awarded the Character Approved Award for a Musician by USA in 2009. And this story, Lupe Fiasco. Come like, share, and subscribe to Stingray Cool.